Second test match, end of day one. Plenty to talk about. Harshit, what have you got for us?
Not that. 336 runs, India deciding to bat first. Good toss to win is what it seemed like at the start. And the scoreboard for India does look like that. They made use of the batting conditions. We'll talk about everything in detail, but 336 for the loss of 6 wickets, the Indian team, that 6th wicket falling just at the stroke of Stumps. In came Ravichandran Ashwin, smacked a good one to end day's play. In fact, speaking of how things ended, there was some sort of an animated conversation that Ravichandran Ashwin had with the umpire. So we'll get details on that. But India, by the way, sitting good at the moment at 336. Yashasvi Jaiswal, the man of the hour, one can say, batted all through the day after he came out to bat with Rohit Sharma. Continues to be that lone performer, I would say, as far as this batting performance from Indian team is concerned. He's now batting on 179 not out. He slogged it out, played over 250 deliveries, and he's looking good for his maiden double ton. Let's just hope he gets there tomorrow when India come out to bat. But the other big talking point over here perhaps being that yes, there's somebody who's closing in on a double ton, but the second best batter only getting 34 runs. Starts, I would say, rather 3 Indian batters getting out in their 2 Indian batters getting out in their 30s, 2 of them in their 20s. So that tells you that yes, there were starts for the Indian batters, but not all of them being able to convert the way Yashasvi Jaiswal really dominated proceedings in Vizag on day 1 of the second test match.
The standout bowlers, since Harshit's ignored them, of course the 2 youngsters in Rehan and Bashir. Of course, Bashir making his debut, picking up 2 wickets, one of the Indian captain in Rohit Sharma. Rehan not getting even half the amount of overs that some other bowler has got. Really underutilized on this day, many would say, yet ending up with 2 wickets, getting one of those very crucial wickets of Patidar, who might add was looking like the best player on the day. We'll talk in detail of all of that. To begin with, I don't quite agree with Harshit where he says India sitting pretty at 336. Why don't I agree with it? I'll get to it, but we'll get the third member on our panel to say, what does he think? India sitting pretty or India sitting precariously?
No, I don't think India is at a happy position right now. I think still, if we sum up the day, it would be England's day, because again, 336, India still anytime they could crumble when they come out to bat tomorrow. Again, I think the standout batsman today was definitely Yashasvi Jaiswal. Others did not look. Everyone looked in that double mindset, and during the tea show also I was talking about this. The English bowlers had a very set plan for the batters. If it was Shreyas Iyer also, they were giving the outside off stump for the cut, and they had 2 covers to stop the single if some batter is going for the. They were cutting that single, so the only option batters had was to cut to actually get runs. Otherwise, you had to play out those deliveries. That wasn't India's intent. In that aggression, they had to go for the cut. Shreyas Iyer got out that way, Bharat got out that way. And on the other hand, for Yashasvi Jaiswal, that wasn't the case because he was so aggressive that they had to keep the cut fielders at the boundary. So automatically that became really easy for someone like a Jaiswal. And then they had to change the plan for Jaiswal also, and then he tried to use his feet and bat that well also. So I think all the other batters have disappointed again, be it Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill we did talk about in the lunchtime show, and Bharat also. I thought again he fell for the trap, which was very visible that they had 2 players at point, particularly for this shot. They were bowling continuously outside the off stump, so that if the batters go for the cut shot, they are caught out or he gets the edge.
It's interesting you talk about that cut shot. I'll get to it a little later. I thought of talking about it. But firstly, just looking at it from a macro point of view, Harshit said that India is sitting pretty. Shashwat feels, not quite. Why I think it is not a pretty position for India. It's not disastrous either. I think it's a very 50-50 game right now. And I give you my reasons for saying that. One, 336 was 6 at the end of day 1. On any other given day, on a pitch that you got in India the last 3-4 years, I'd say yes, amazing performance. But that's not what we have seen recently, or the pitch that has been on offer in this particular game. On this flat track that India got, I thought that maybe 300 plus with just 4 or 5 wickets. That would have been idle. Maybe even 360 or so is what India should have aimed at. 360 or so is what India should have aimed at, with less amount of wickets because of the nature of the pitch. I still felt that the Indian batters could have been slightly more aggressive. I try and put it into perspective why I say I'm not overly excited with how India has played so far. And the primary reason for that is, go to the previous test match played in Hyderabad, and you knew that the conditions weren't great in Hyderabad. And what did India get in the first innings? 421, if I'm not mistaken. 421 is what India got. And what happened? You ended up losing the game on a trickier pitch than the pitch that you have here. So India's best performance will come now, batting first. And as things stand right now, they just about seem at par to get 420. So while we sit and celebrate Yashasvi Jaiswal's 100 and a daddy 100 at that, and I think we'll talk in detail about how good Yashasvi Jaiswal is, but I think this is the way you need to look at it, that even when you did not get a daddy 100, you had a situation where a lot of your players at that time got you 80s, 3 of them got you 80s. At the end of the day, you only look at what the team has taken. Whatever it takes for the team to go to a certain position, right? You just take a look at that. Whatever it's taken for the team to get to a certain situation. And as things stand right now, the team went to 420 and the team seems to be right now on course for 420. They could fall short of 420 also. They could exceed 420 also if Yashasvi has an outstanding day. But at the moment, it's seeming like with another 80 odd runs or 84 odd runs, 85 odd runs that you need with 4 wickets in hand, that's where you're going at. So has much changed? On a trickier pitch, you get to 420, you lose the match. On an easy pitch, the best pitch that you have got, not I'm saying in this particular series, but in a long time. I think the only other pitch that was deader than a dodo was the one that you get in Ahmedabad versus Australia. But that was a game you wanted a draw out of. So you gave that pitch. That's the only other pitch in India that I can think of in the last 3-4 years where batting was easier, but you were aiming for a draw here. Are you aiming for a draw here? You're behind in the series at 1-0. You'd want to push the tempo, which is why I thought on a pitch like this, bigger score, quicker score, set the tempo, set the benchmark. That's what India needed to do. But unfortunately, that has not happened on day one. The only thing that gives me hope, and which is why I'm still saying 50-50, the only thing that gives me hope that I did see towards the end of the day, the ball turning a bit. There was that bounce. Overall, the cut shot that he talks about, if you see, even when Yashasvi tried to play the cut shot, later of course they had the field back for him, but initially also when he tried to play the cut shot, he wasn't that comfortable, and cut shot is a go-to shot of Yashasvi Jaiswal. Other batters have fallen to cut shots. You know, you're talking about Shreyas Iyer, you're talking about Akshar Patel, whatever. People have fallen to it. What does that tell you? Why is it that cut shot, which could be bread and butter on most occasions, let's say for an Akshar Patel, let's say for a Yashasvi Jaiswal, why are you finding it tough? There could only be 2 reasons. One could be there's extra bounce, so you're finding it tough to control your cut, which I don't think there was. The other is that the pitch is slightly slower than you expect it to be, because in a good pitch where the ball really comes on, your cut is going to be for a 4, especially good cutters of the ball will hit it for 4. If it's not happening here, that's the only ray of hope I'm looking at, that now it's beginning to turn a bit and cutting the ball hasn't been easier, which then will make any cross-batted shot, whether it's the cut or a sweep or any other shot, difficult to control unless you get your timing spot on. On a quicker pitch, you can get it. I know the previous pitch was also a slow turner, but that allowed you to adjust. I don't know how the batters are going to adjust, the English batters. That's the only reason I'm still saying maybe 50-50 or 55-45 to England at the moment. But if this wasn't the case.
To England?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
At the moment. What did you think in terms of overall?
Even I think 55-45. I'd say 60-40 in fact in favor of England.
To England. Yeah. Because again, look at the pitch. If it was the Hyderabad pitch, I would have not said that.
And the reason I think that Yashasvi Jaiswal was struggling a bit in this beginning to play the cut shot, I think the reason for that was that in the to start off, it was a little damp and it just got better as the day progressed. So I think then he started getting the hold of the cut shot. So I think the wicket As of now, I think there is or the odd ball is turning, but then that turn isn't the one that I think the Indian bowlers could utilize to actually run through an English batting lineup.
Yeah.
Two things that I want to say here. Perhaps, yes, I want to perhaps just go back a bit, rephrase. When I say looking pretty, I actually just let's say put India, if not pretty, let's say, and between pretty and precarious, I would say that's where they are. But on the good side of it, I would say, not let's say on the negative side of it. So I think that's where they are. That's what the kind of day that they've had today. Second thing, and which is why I say, I'll put it more, let's say, in the good light or in the positive side, because I could see that turn towards the end, which is what tells me that this is a good score. It's a good foundation. On day one, you've done the, good work with the bat. Yes, there is more work that's needed, and that has to be done. You've got to be crossing 400 at least, more the merrier, as they say. But 400 at least you've got to be crossing, and it's your last recognized batting pair. Let's say, because after that you've just got Kuldeep coming, bulk of the run scoring will have to come from this pair. Having said that, the fact that I see some turn now, I see some purchase, that tells me that you may not have, let's say, needed a mammoth total. There is something to play for now on day 2. It will not be as batter friendly as it was, let's say, the first couple of sessions. We saw things change right towards the end, which is why 336 looks like a good total to me. Now that I see that the pitch is starting to assist the spinners.
I don't know. I as I said, I put it in a different context. Trickier pitch, India got 421, you lost.
Yeah.
Good pitch, you're still getting 420. To me, that tells you that you have performed below expectations. On this pitch, a bigger total was expected out of this Indian batting lineup. Secondly, I'm going to reverse the situation. On this flat track, if England were batting, how much do you think they would have got? You heard from Kevin Peterson when he saw the pitch report in the morning. He said on this pitch, England would have gotten 1 million runs. I know that's an exaggeration, and KP has in the past exaggerated a bit. That's fine. But what the common sentiment was that this was a big scoring round. England team that got 400 plus in the third innings of the Hyderabad test match. On this first innings, in Vizag, I tend to agree that probably if England were batting, there would have been 360, 370 on day one. Maybe 4 wickets at best, 5 wickets. I think that is what they would have. They were. I mean, again, they could have been all out. You don't know, but I'm saying that is what I would assume would have been the par sort of a performance from England, and that's why I said I wanted India to set a tempo. I wanted India to send out a message to the opposition team. I wanted India to tell them who the real boss is in these conditions. Will this performance tell England who the boss is? Not quite. England would be like, okay, fine, I think we've done enough getting 6 wickets here, because when they would have seen the toss, when they lost the toss, you saw that wry smile that Ben Stokes gave. I don't think they expected too many wickets. They probably would have thought to themselves that this Indian batting in their conditions, we are looking at a long day for our bowlers. It's not quite been a long day. I think they'd be happy.
I think if England was to bat first, I think they would have at least gotten to 3. I look at them the way they bat actually on this wicket. I think 390 to 400. I wouldn't be surprised with the loss of, I think, 5 or 6 wickets, but again, their tail and our tail, there's a lot of difference there. And also India's bowling lineup and England's bowling lineup, again, a lot of difference in that. So that's why I think that India, because now when England comes out to bat, they know what they are going after. That's also a disadvantage when you actually score a little less. I mean, when you're batting first, now they know what they have their eyes on. It's not like they have to set a total. They know where to go, and they would know exactly how to approach that total as well.
Yeah, and also, as much as a ball turn, I wonder if a good pitch as it was today will drastically change tomorrow. I mean, even if it changes, it will change gradually. And if tomorrow also happens to be a good batting day, well then, either you're then already, I mean, I know too early, but if England also bat according to how we expect, then by the end of day 2, you're already talking about a draw. I know it will be just day 2 with 3 days left. But the conversation around a draw would even start, and I'd be surprised.
Just keeping in mind the deterioration, and of course, given how, just natural course, let's say if the pitch is to go by how you expect, I see tomorrow not being as batter friendly as, let's say, day one. Also, we saw an instance, we rather saw Shreyas Iyer lose his wicket when the ball stayed low. Towards the end, we saw some turn as well. So, keeping those things in mind, maybe it's actually not as batter friendly as it appeared at the start. Again, lots of answers yet to be discovered, yet to be found, and maybe we'll get those tomorrow. But I'm just keeping those factors in mind, which makes me feel, probably the only thing I would want to change, and I don't want to be guessing at the moment how much England would have scored. We know they anyway would have scored more runs than India, would have, or India have rather. But I think I would have just wanted a wicket less over there. Maybe I wanted Shrikar Bharat to be there. I think I would still take 336. I don't mind, let's say, the rate at which runs were scored. But I think what would have really, given me comfort at the moment is if I had one more wicket in the bag. And again, looking at the conditions, given that, look at the fact that, these wickets were taken, how many, just the one wicket taken by, a speedster in James Anderson, rest all taken by spinners, let's say. So, youngsters doing very well, especially Rehan. He tried his dusra as well, and he did sort of get.
So what does that imply?
So what I'm trying to say is, yes, there is success for spinners over here, and given the conditions how they've now sort of changed towards the second half, I think this is what tells me that it's a good total at day one.
India playing two fast bowlers.
Quality spinners you've got. Anyhow,
you do, but I'm just saying, if it's already you think it's a string spinners, then the fact that India playing two fast bowlers.
But I think we are getting deceived by this. I'll tell you why. Because look at the nature of dismissals for each of the batters. There were no demons whatsoever from the wicket. Look at Rohit Sharma's wicket, threw his wicket away. Shubman Gill threw his wicket away. Shreyas Iyer, okay, that ball kept low, but we are questioning the shot selection at this point. Look at Rajat Patidar. Inside edge, rolling back, he was transfixed. His brain froze. He got bowled. Akshar Patel, Shrikar Bharat. Look at the shots that they played. I mean, there is nothing on this wicket which has implied that, the spinners or the pacers are coming into play. You gifted 6 wickets today.
Yeah. So what does that tell you? I mean, we were debating. He feels India in better position, good position. Shashwat and I feel that it's clearly England's day. On a flat track like this, England would be very happy. On a day they would have thought that they'll have to toil the entire 90 overs. They've ended up with 6 wickets and in with a chance of dismissing India below 420, which India got on a tricky Hyderabad pitch.
Yes.
So
I would say every single time a wicket fell, it increased England's morale and it has kept them in the game. Sure, Jaiswal has batted on a different wicket altogether, but look at it. The first time ever, there's a reason why for the first time, number 3, 4, 5, 6 have all gotten dismissed in the range of 25 to 35 in a test match. Number 3, you are comfortably about 60-70 runs short from where you should be on this deck. And because towards the fag end, the likes of Akshar and Shrikar threw your wickets away, that's why it is England's day. I would tend to agree with that. See, 336, just over 3.5 run rate. Okay.
how much would have England got if Ben Stokes won the toss? He was batting
440
on day one.
440 on day one.
I have, looking at the quality of the Indian
That's
attack,
5
I
and
have
over.
Underestimated.
That's 5 and over.
I think a little too much. You're saying 4 and
No,
over.
It's less than 5 and over.
It's less actually, 93 overs are bowled.
Yeah. So I've said 440.
440 would have been a bit too much. I think 400 I would have taken it.
No, that's his choice.
Yeah.
Because
440 you think?
Yeah, 440.
For how many loss of how many?
7 wickets. But again, look at it. 336 for 6
Yeah.
is a lot lesser than 440 for 7 when you look at the broader
Absolutely.
context of
I
it.
don't see India
Absolutely.
going to 440.
Because 440 for 7 would mean, again, just extending that, extrapolating that same logic. 440 for 7 would mean about 470, right? 336 for 6 could very well just be 420.
Yep.
So 470, 420, there's a 50 run difference there. I agree that England would be batting last, and I think that's another thing that India will take heart from, because as we know, not too much watering on the pitch, drier, it will get tougher to bat on. Yes, that is a advantage in long term, but I'm saying you will also have to remember that you have been aided by the fact that you won the toss. How big an advantage you've had.
Yep.
But my point is that big advantage you had even before the first ball was bowled, just at the end of the coin toss, you were ahead, and where you finished, if you had taken a big lead already before even the first ball was bowled because you won the toss, that lead has been covered, and even there probably England has taken their noses ahead. So imagine the amount of distance they've covered considering the fact that they lost the toss, and as soon as they lost the toss, they were far behind in the race. They've not only caught up, but maybe with their noses ahead, maybe an inch ahead of you they've reached in day one. So just put into perspective how much area they have covered. I'll cut to the scenario. If England batted first on those good conditions and you had a similar sort of performance from the Indian team, let's say they reached 440, 470, whatever, and you had a similar sort of performance from the Indian team where they were 336 for 6 in their first innings, you were well behind in the race.
Yeah.
You were well behind in the race. Because you batted first, it seems slightly okay, slightly decent, but you were well behind. The only thing that can make all of us, or if not all of us, at least Shashwat, me and Siddharth look very foolish, is if the Indian bowlers have a blast. Also not basis on the pitch. The pitch is not going to help them. But let's say Jasprit Bumrah puts up a masterclass. Yeah. Let's say a Kuldeep Yadav turns on his magic. You know, let's say an Akshar Patel chips in with a wicket or two with smart bowling. And Ashwin, has spent thinking, strategizing about every batter with field placement. He has all his plans come through. If all of that happens, yes, even on the pitch you could have England on the back foot. But if it doesn't work out, then...
See, because on this wicket, so far a bowler of skill hasn't gotten you a wicket.
Exactly.
It's all been throwing your shots away. And which is why I'm tempted to say that this is England's day mode. They'll be happy.
But how many bowlers of skill are anyway on display other than Jimmy Anderson? Jimmy Anderson, true to his, form, I was just looking at those pitch maps. It was like, a Glenn McGrath type.
Yes. Someone put a coin length.
Yeah.
On that.
The length was slightly changing, but that line was there, fourth stump.
I was just discussing with Harshit that in the last 3 tours that he's had in the subcontinent, his average is less than 25 and his economy rate is less than 2. Look at the holding role that has happened, but today, what let England down, perhaps it was Joe Root. His spinners just didn't turn up, and that's why Jaiswal took full toll. Hartley also towards the fag end got hit. Bashir, debutant, what more can you expect from him? And I was rather surprised why they got Rehan Ahmed rather late. I mean, he got them only towards the fag end of the second session.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had bowled 50 plus over in the innings and Rehan hadn't bowled a single over.
Yep. Towards the fag end of the second session.
50 plus overs gone and Rehan Ahmed hasn't bowled a single over. And he came back and got you that wicket.
Yeah. And he looked probably the most threatening of the spinners if you look at it. Because he was getting dip, he was getting spin. Remember the way how he used to dismiss
Patidar? See, that's what happens. This is why I'm saying this is giving a sort of an insight as to how Indian bowlers will perform. Whenever it is a flattish track, your finger spinners will struggle. On a flat track. That's where your wrist spinners come in. That's why we said if it's a flattish track, Kuldeep Yadav will be the guy because they don't rely that much on the surface, right? The wrist will help them do it. Your finger spinners more often than not need it, which is what tells me that maybe if it was to be this flat, maybe Akshar wouldn't be the guy who does it. Ashwin is another kettle of fish. Even though he's a finger spinner, he has too many variations up his sleeve, is thinking, so he compensates for the fact that he's a finger spinner even on flatter tracks. But those are the guys that will struggle, which is why probably India went with those 2 fast bowlers and a Kuldeep Yadav, that on a flat pitch, these are the guys who need to pull up their socks or bring their experience into play and get you wicket. But your finger spinners, with that in mind, by the way, Bashir's debut pretty good. Not conditions very conducive to a finger spinner. And you had right-handers batting throughout, yet the way he bowled, I mean, a lot of maturity for someone who's just played barely a handful of first-class games, playing his first ever test match. Very disciplined.
He kept it very simple in the sense that he was accurate. Look at the way how he tied down Yashasvi. I mean, he was the guy who was troubling him with his accuracy in that sense. But yes, the inexperience factor is odd loose ball which got hit, so that's why 100 runs. But again, look at Ben Stokes' thinking. A debutant in Hartley, he gave him the most overs in the first innings in Hyderabad. Here, debutant most, I think what Stokes and the England management are thinking at this point is, try and ease your nerves out in the first session itself, because in the second session you would have already gotten used to the right lengths to bowl, what are the problem areas that are there. It could be diagnosed quite quickly. They diagnose much quicker the problem
the
areas.
other way of looking at it is they think that the opposition doesn't know much about them, so put them under pressure right from that start, because after he's bowled an innings, you know him.
Yeah.
So second innings, they'll have an idea of the kind of bowler that is coming their way. Maybe that's the thought process. But if I'm an English player, I'll feel a bit aggrieved that only when I'm a debutant you give me overs. So every time a debutant is playing with me, I'm like, oh, today I ain't getting too many overs.
Yeah, I know.
Why actually I think Shoaib Bashir was also so accurate, was it because he was getting the results to the plan he had actually made? It was getting executed again and again. I feel it wasn't like a world-class bowling effort by the English spinners. Again, it was specifically just planned for Rohit Sharma. They just had one fielder for that, and they were bowling at his pads again and again. They knew he would fall for that. And
why did he not sweep then?
He would have had any other shot, it would have gone anywhere. They had the fielder perfectly placed for specifically that shot. They knew that he would just try to chip it.
But I am saying, if they knew, I agree, if they knew Rohit Sharma, why did Rohit Sharma not then, play his shots also? For example, I was just saying, Rohit Sharma, the batter, again in Test cricket, I'm not looking at Rohit Sharma, the white ball cricketer, and he can play those long innings. He had root bowling on his leg, but short ball to his leg.
Yeah.
It's like coming and he's like trying to fend off. I mean, on a given day, Rohit Sharma would whack it that side. You can't be leg before, you can't be bowled. I'm saying this is the Rohit Sharma. Why is he not going?
Why is he? Okay, forget the
He has
swing.
that pressure on himself that it's an inexperienced batting lineup. He has to carry that till the end. He has to play till the end of the day. I think that is what played. Apart from that, again, why Shoaib Bashir, Rehan Ahmed, Tom Hartley to an extent are looking so good today? Because again, all of the batters fell into a very specific, very similar-ish, same trap. Again and again, Aksar Patel on the cut. He was cutting the ball.
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer. Again, Shreyas Iyer, I wouldn't say that the ball stayed down. That's why he got out. I feel again, it was again a game of patience. They had two players to stop the single from that line. They knew that they were trying for that ultra aggressive approach. That's why they were going for the.
I want to know, since you're the biggest Shreyas Iyer back, what was he trying to do against Anderson?
I have no idea.
I want to know. Somebody can explain. Somebody can
He was
explain.
trying to take him on.
Honestly, I didn't see that. I missed that because I was.
It's nice
Okay,
that you didn't see it.
explain to folks who did not have a chance to see it.
Shreyas Iyer basically.
Because I found it hard to put into words. So he'll tell.
Anderson was basically bowling that we were talking. I think yesterday somebody commented also that bowling short balls at the fifth stump. He was exactly doing that. It wasn't on the fifth stump. It was more on the third, fourth stump.
See, to begin with, he bowled him on his body, and Shreyas played it because as I think we spoke here at the lunch session. Somebody said short pitch, and I said that on this pitch, Shreyas should go for it because this is not the pitch that will trouble him. And we've seen him; he attacks the short ball because maybe of the things that are told to him or that whole impression that has been created. So he attacks and he comes off also. But in test match cricket, you should be smarter, let it go. So this is what we discussed, that in lunchtime, if you bowl short, go for your shot. Unless they've kept specific fielders for you, there's a trap, then leave it. You have time. But if they've not, go for it, because in this pitch, I'll give him more chances of succeeding against an Anderson, a short pill, than otherwise. So Anderson tried that, to which he could control. He controlled it. They kept the fielder. He still played it, but controlled it. And then Jimmy Anderson went like this.
That's the same thing he did in the spinners also. What I feel is that he was shuffling so that Jimmy Anderson follows his body, and then like what you do in T20, typically you go on a particular side so that the bowler follows your body, and then you try to make room and hit that. So he was exactly doing that. And I think that's exactly what he was trying in the spinners also, that he was shuffling a bit. Again, that thing that he was trying to be that, again, it's test cricket, you have to be a little patient. Because see, with Jaiswal, what I really noticed was that they had the same plan for Jaiswal also. But as soon as it did not work for him, they started changing their lines and length for Jaiswal. But with someone like Shreyas Iyer, He was again and again going for the cut, missing. If he could have just tapped that single, I know that the runs would have stopped for a while, but eventually, as soon as they would have changed the plan, Shreyas Iyer would have taken them on. But again, he was trying to be that ultra aggressive. That I think backfired.
Exactly. Why can't he change that? Why can't he change that? Why can't someone just knock some sense into it? That listen, this was tailor-made condition for him to get a 100, a big total. I'm not going to say 100 because I hate everyone just 100. A big score. It was great chance for him to do that. But what is he doing? He is trying to justify that I will do it. And the same thing we discussed in white ball cricket. Why are you trying to justify it? Who cares? At the end of the day, if you've got at 94 in front of your name, that's what counts, my friend. That's what counts. You would have taken India to a place where we wouldn't have been discussing who's got the edge. You would have said pretty much, signed, sealed, delivered this test match to India. From here, India can't lose. You could have been sitting at 360 for 3 or 4.
Yes.
It was done. But he is hell-bent on proving the whole world wrong. He thinks the whole world is targeting him and there is no fear. He has, going to prove them. And England, you're going to bowl shot. I'll show you.
For one moment I thought it was Umran Malik bowling, because remember in the IPL, Umran Malik had a similar thing. Short, and then he would deliver a Yorker.
Knocked him over. Yeah.
What is it with Shreyas here? I just don't
The
understand.
more he does this, today it just tells us, at least that's what I sort of interpret when you see the way that he was trying to play that short ball. Yes, of course, the one that was bowled to him, and I remember seeing that he comfortably pulled it just to have the fielder there in the deep. But over there, that visual, him dancing around, whatever he was trying to do over there, that just it's actually weighing heavily on his mind. He's trying to, as Nikhil says, he's trying to prove it is only
muddling his own strength.
And it's proving the narrative which is going outside, which he doesn't buy into. It's actually telling the other story, the one that he's trying to dispel. It's telling that story much more.
See, I would have
that it bothers me. That's why I'm trying something else. If it didn't bother you or it doesn't concern you, you just you let it go. How many bouncers can a 41-year-old Jimmy Anderson pull?
You were trying with he was really thinking that by him moving in the crease, Jimmy Anderson's line and length would change. It obviously wouldn't, because he's a seasoned bowler. He knows exactly what to do. And I think the same thing also replicated again, like I just mentioned, in the spin bowling also. Again and again, same thing. He should have tapped a single, double. Even if it wasn't coming, they would have immediately removed the two covers, and then the singles would have been open for him. Same thing Akshar Patel did, same thing Srikar Varadhan, that will cut and show.
Your ultra aggressive approach has yielded you gifting 6 wickets today. Okay. The other 50%, Jaiswal and all the others at least got you to 330
after this
plus.
we will talk about Jaiswal also. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's not all doom and gloom.
But take away the Jaiswal 179. Boss, you got problems.
Nothing.
You got real good problems in the middle order. Inexperience. Okay, I can understand Rohit Sharma, kind of. But then going into your shell, you're only putting much more pressure. As Nikhil had said, okay, I'm on debut. A 3-test-old spin attack is doing this to a 52-test veteran who's the captain of my team. I'd better be careful. Now,
Patidar did not show that.
Patidar didn't show it, but then see, he was unlucky, but plus it was a gift also. He waited, it was transfixed. It's at the stump. What have I done?
It
One
happens.
player is playing with so soft, two soft hands. Another is playing with so hard hands.
Shubman Gill's situation, I mean, if I look at the India-England context, it reminds me of, I think, when Nikhil, you would also know, Robin Smith. Robin Smith was a brilliant player of pace. But against spin, any spinner, any kind of spinner, because he would play with hard hands, he would get out. He never averaged well against spin. When Shane Warne came into the scene,
Daryl Cullinan as well.
Yeah, Cullinan. But Cullinan at least was a touch player also. Yeah. But Smith would murder pace. But against spin, he would be clueless.
With his handlebar moustache.
Yeah, the judge.
Patidar played with soft hands.
Okay, so one by one, 2 things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
The 2 bright spots for India in Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rajat Patidar. So all of us with our, 2 bits. We will get to it. First, the bright spots, yaar.
After that, you have an eclipse coming.
So let's start with Yashasvi Jaiswal, the brightest spot for India. One by one, Siddharth joined us late. Yashasvi Jaiswal, what do you make of it?
I mean, this knock is truly if you look at it in a broad way, the
What if I
Yashasvi,
don't look at it?
the Yashasvi Jaiswal that we saw in 2020 Under-19 World Cup. It was the way fearless. I mean, if our experienced and semi-experienced guys, they need to take a leaf out of a 5-test or a 6-test old Yashasvi Jaiswal, the way how to play, intent, aggression, calculated aggression, all these 3 factors were there in Jaiswal's knock. Not troubled, not faced. He gauged the ball, he respected the bowler's reputation, but on merit, he just played conventional, aggressive cricket. Take away Jaiswal's knock and you see the nightmare that is the Indian batting at this point.
Jaiswal.
I'm not surprised seeing Yashasvi Jaiswal do so well in red ball cricket because I've heard his name like when I like almost of the same age. So I used to hear his name when I was like 13, 14 also because in that same age group who's doing well. So he has this knack of scoring runs since a very long time. So I'm not surprised. The only thing that really makes me happy about this fact is that he is taking that aggressive approach. He's moving ahead with time. I never would have imagined him doing so well in the T20 format. But again, something that Virat Kohli very often used to say that I really remember here is that if your basics are right, you can extend the Test cricket shots in T20 cricket and you'll get the result you need in T20 cricket. I think that is exactly he's doing, and he's just class apart. I think he's a really long future for India.
Lambi race ka ghoda.
But something that he has taken from Indian cricket is also Shubman Gill, because now I don't think Shubman Gill is returning.
We'll get to Shubman. He's so eager to go to Shubman.
To add on to that point, his adaptability. He can be aggressive, score at over 100 strike rate, but here he can still play a bit of conventional cricket and still have a strike rate of 70. That is a great sign.
Temperament, he uses his feet to play the spinners. Like a complete batsman, I would say.
Well, Hanji Shivam.
Right now, he's Lambi race ka ghoda. Right now, he's living a life.
Living a life? We are all living a life.
The life.
Living the life, actually.
Enjoying life right now.
Yes.
Well, there were no doubts about Yashasvi Jaiswal, the batter, in my head, but today this innings, what it tells me is, and it gives me more assurance, let's say, in the test temperament that he has. Today's innings, because you've seen him get runs at a much faster rate, but the fact that he changed gears, he respected the bowlers, looked good with his defense, ever so good with his attacking strokes. He got 3, 4, 6, about 5 sixes, I think,
Yeah, 5
that he hit. Again, it was just the perfect 179 that he would have hoped for. Chanceless to a great extent. I think there was just one half a chance that there was while he was batting, but otherwise a flawless kind of a knock, I would say. But my biggest takeaway, and I hope he gets to the double ton as well, boy really deserves it, is the fact that yes, I'm assured that I put my money as the Indian team on the right guy, and he's shown terrific test temperament.
For me, the biggest standout about Yashasvi Jaiswal is that at such a young age, he is proving to be an all-format batter. To be an all-format batter is the toughest thing in cricket right now. Even the biggest name that you can think of, the biggest, seem to be struggling adapting to different formats because the requirement of each format is so distinctly different. But Yashasvi Jaiswal is showing me at the moment, though he hasn't played too much of ODI cricket, but what he's showing me, because ODI is still there in the middle, so the two extreme in T20 and Test cricket, what he's showing me that he has everything to succeed in both those formats for a long time, and that you say about a very few players. There will be players that will really impress you in Test cricket. You may push them into T20 also. They may have a decent return sometime, but sooner or later they will be found out because of how that format is evolving, T20 cricket. Vice versa. You could have a very good T20 batter. You may push him into Test cricket. He may come in with occasional success, but on the long term, will be found wanting. Very few batters can play all 3 formats, and Yashasvi Jaiswal at the moment is looking like that. Just looking at his Test career, in just a short span, a handful of Test matches, already he has 270 plus scores. Already. One in the West Indies, one here. In just these handful of Test matches, it can take a lifetime for a decent batter to get to those totals. He's done it in a handful of games. incredible. And this is the same guy in T20 cricket is pushing the envelope even there. So that skill for Yashasvi Jaiswal, absolutely brilliant. What I also love is his attitude. He is such a likable person, and which you could see from the opposition team, the English team, the kind of reception they gave them. The day's play got over, he's still not out, and you appreciate him. But each and every player came, shook hands with him. He also waited. I mean, there is something so likable about a young Yashasvi Jaiswal, and you could see that a team that has come here to win the series has so much of respect for a youngster like Yashasvi Jaiswal. Hats off to them.
Again, if he scores 100, he makes it big already. I mean, 171 or 171 could near a 200 tomorrow, and it's a fitting.
It doesn't matter. Again, I'm saying, don't matter if it reaches 200 or not.
Yeah, could be carrying the bat for all you know.
Yeah, if he gets 199.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he is the one who's taken your team. The other one, Rajat Patidar. What do you make of it? This time, Sid starts.
50-50, I would say. I mean, he looked assured, but there were nerves on display in a test debut. I mean, obviously, he got beaten by deliveries by Rehan Ahmed, he did get, but he played the reverse sweep, which is an indication that yes, he backs his confidence in that way. But the manner of his dismissal was slightly, you may say, embarrassing and unlucky, because he was transfixed. Okay, what's happened? Oh, it's going, it's gone. He will learn, but I think it was a 50-50 kind of a knock. Good in patches, but yeah, could have had much more.
Harshit's turn.
I think I liked whatever I saw. 32 odd runs that we saw from him. I think I liked those 32 runs the way they were scored. Initially, yes, maybe a couple of tentative shots, but once he got his eye in, I like the fact that yes, he looked confident. It didn't look like he was at sea or he found himself in the wrong place or anything like that. Looked assured for the most part, and sort of disagree where Siddharth says it was an embarrassing decision. I would look at it differently, saying just unlucky. Yes, soft hands as Shashwat earlier said, but then that ball could have rolled either way, and it happens so often. So just got a little unlucky. Would obviously have been great to see him bat longer.
No, I look at him and I feel he's really assured again, like what they mentioned. And also I feel that he's like that paka hua chawal you call, who's gone through the grind, and he knows it didn't seem like that he came out to bat with that thing. When you see a youngster coming out, you can see that thing that youngster is on his debut. Here you would sense that thing that he's here to make a mark, and he's going to. The thing with such people who make their debuts at this age is that they know that they have to grab the opportunities, and opportunities are limited. And I think that's what he did, and that's the intent and temperament and his mindset that I really like.
To me, dare I say, he looked the best against spinners. I'm even taking Yashasvi Jaiswal into account. He's, of course, been the most successful batter of the day. But I'm talking about in terms of pleasing to the eye or how he bats. To me, Rajat Patidar looked the most comfortable against spin. He could play with the turn, against the turn, assured with his feet movement. Absolutely perfect. Like at no point did I find him uncomfortable against the spinner. Absolutely assured and confident as you'd want. And it's no surprise then that the two best batter on the day, on a day where mostly spinners have bowled, the two best batters for you, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rajat Patidar, in terms of how they looked, is it a coincidence that both of them have just been playing domestic cricket or are in touch with domestic cricket, and they've been playing a lot of it and so come here vis-a-vis the other batters who are far bigger names and have also played domestic cricket at some point to have made it, but have been away from domestic cricket for a long time. These two are still fresher compared to them. So I think it's no surprise. The fact that they're looking so comfortable against spin in these conditions, might I add, because these are the conditions you get in domestic cricket, not the other gaddas that you were getting. Because that's why I said, if you prepare a gadda, would not matter who you're playing. Whether fresh out of domestic cricket or not, for that you would just need temperament, experience comes into play. And these typical pitches which you are getting in first class cricket and against spinners may not be the best in quality, but they're also not the best in quality in terms of what England is offering you, similar sort of bowling. So it's no surprise that the two players who have till very recently been playing domestic cricket are looking the best against spin, and I think Rajat Patidar looked that. For his dismissal, I think unlucky. The ball could have gone anywhere. I felt for him. Could have gone on to get more runs, but that wasn't to be the case. But I've liked what I've seen. Having said that, he would be kicking himself because he could have not asked for a better place to make his debut. What if he had made the debut during the BGT and the kind of pitches that you were getting? What if he made his debut even the last test match comparatively? He's lucky enough. Firstly, he's lucky enough to make his debut because remember Virat Kohli pulling out, KL Rahul getting injured allows you. Otherwise, for all you know, he's 30 years of age, would have never played for India. Gets that chance, and imagine gets the chance in the perfect possible scenario against an inexperienced bowling attack as far as the spinners are concerned, on a good batting pitch, on a day that India has won the toss. Everything worked. Would he be happy with a 32? Not quite. It was a big score for the taking. Should have got it.
And he got the confidence from that 151 that luckily played against the England Lions.
He got 200s, one in the practice game and one again in the main game as well.
And Ahmedabad, unlike the World Cup and in 2021 and 23 BGT and England series, that was a flatter wicket. So he kind of gotten used to that kind of a situation, and that's why he executed rather well in Vizag.
Like I mentioned in the last test match also, like nobody actually was with me on this thing, that the fact that the way the Indian batters are playing spin. So now seeing them on this wicket, on a flatter wicket, seeing them against such a bowling attack, does that change things?
As in, I didn't
get the question.
No, do you still think that the Indian batters do suffer against the spin bowler?
No. That we had said they suffer against spin bowlers as in comparatively. See, again, you've got to understand there are no black and white. So Indian batters' skill to play spin, has it diminished over the years? We said, of course, it has.
It has.
It has. But you're not getting my point. The pitches that you were getting in the recent past, it would not matter if you have come with experience from first class cricket or not. Nobody expected this pitch, is what I'm trying to say. If, forget nobody, what was your prediction on the Vizag pitch? Yeah. And that is what all of us also thought. You're not the only one. All of us. That is the pitch. Does not matter how much domestic cricket you've played, boss. You have not been prepared for that scenario. So to judge, that's what I'm saying, to judge a Indian batter's capability against spin, you also have to give them pitches which provide an even contest between bat and ball. But you have not been getting, that's what I'm trying to say. So but who thought, if you're going to have, see, we also need to understand what is the roadmap that India has in their mind. If let's say, because nobody can figure out, you can't, he can't, because you got your Vizag pitch wrong. Why? Because we don't know the roadmap. If let's say India today decide that come what may, this is it. We are going back to how Indian pitches were. First 2 days I mentioned good for batting, starts turning, fast bowlers also come into play, that you go. If that is the template that India is going to follow for the next 7 years, then I think it makes sense. You start rewarding domestic performance. Then you go. But if after every result, you're going to change your mind because you panic that, oh, we've lost to this team in this way, our next pitch should be that way. You lost to pitch. Then doesn't matter, you get Patidar, you get Sarfaraz, you get Yashasvi, you will be found out. You will be found out.
But what I think is that in general, overall, across formats, spin is a problem that India suffers.
No, which we have agreed. But my point is on spin, those rank turners that you have. Yes, that is not as India, the world over. The more white ball cricket you play.
Indians where spin is the thing that you actually
that has happened.
Don't you think that should be a stronger suit for the
it should be, but that's what I'm saying, it is all related. For that you need to keep preparing pitches like this. So if you are going to continue having your players playing these sort of pitches, if you're going to have pitches like this and allow, what happens to your batters as well? Will your batters have that confidence if you give them those gaddas? No. Then they will also be struggling. If you keep giving these pitches, that's why you got to look at their point of view as well. If you keep giving them these pitches, give them confidence, a couple of them get their hundreds under their belt, then they will also have that confidence. You're not giving them confidence by giving that. So it's interrelated. These guys, why they'll do well, they've not come with that package and they've got a pitch like that. But imagine if Rajat Patidar and Yashasvi Jaiswal played on 5 gaddas.
Indore, BGT.
If they played on 5 gaddas, they would have not got this run. You know what they would have thought? Test cricket is too tough, man. We cannot. What would be a narrative? India has stopped producing players to play spin. India is producing players, but they are unspoiled till the time they are playing domestic cricket, because there you are not really fidgeting with the pitches. You're letting them be. It's only when you start reaching. By the way, there was also a problem of domestic cricket giving you these pitches. I'm not going to take name, but certain states had started doing it. Till the time BCCI stepped in, and then they had those centralized curators where they were sent, because they were test matches in Ranji Trophy, they were finishing in 2 days. So you're looking at your strength, you are preparing gaddas there. It started from there, where you would end up taking tak wickets, finish the opposition goal. Then BCCI said, boss, this is going to ruin our domestic structure. Our players will not learn how to play spin. All of them will come through. So then they had centralized curators, and there was a standardized thing, and pitches started getting rated. So now you've gone back to traditional pitches. So now the guys coming from there will be good. But if you keep giving gaddas there, then you'll, one series, 2 series, they'll go back.
It's interesting that, when we were having this conversation yesterday as well on these lines, we were talking about how things have changed courtesy the WTC, and how it's going to have its own damning effect on cricket at large and test cricket in general. I don't think, in this era now, on the kind of numbers, let's say, modern greats like your Virats and the Steve Smiths and the Roots, and more so about Indian batters I'm worried about, because again, England is doing everything to, so that the batsmen prosper. What we are doing here in India, I don't think you'll have batters, let's say, maybe a Yashasvi and the ilk of players in that age group, let's say Yashasvi and your Gills and all these youngsters as well. I don't think they'll be able to have these numbers 5-7 years down the line. Their averages and their overall numbers may not look as good and pretty as, let's say, some of their senior members have had in the past.
It's not a permanent thing that India stick with that. Maybe this is the turning of the corner. Who knows? Also will depend on how this test match goes, because I will never say something with a lot of surety. You end up losing this test match, you are back against the wall. Then maybe
all the
his dream
issues
pitch
swept under the carpet will be now out in the open.
maybe his dream pitch will come the next test match. That's Ranchi.
Yeah.
Maybe if
Next is Ranchi, na?
Next is Rajkot.
Rajkot has produced such pitches in domestic cricket.
Yes, it has.
So his dream pitch could come, but for that he'll have to wait for
in
the
his
result.
dreams.
No. You one match you lost, you saw how things change.
Yeah.
If you lose another one, it will be another 360-degree change.
And 3-2.
Unless you fix.
Then you will definitely give gaddas, because you have to come win the series also.
Dream pitch.
We have to give gaddas. This is such a problematic situation at this point in time.
I don't like the word gadda for some reason. Yeah.
See, England's
In
impact.
Delhi means different things also, that's why.
Yeah. Gadda in Delhi in general is the weakling.
Yeah. That's what you call them. And
The problem is, look at what England and India are doing at this point in time in Test cricket. Okay, England, fine, they are ensuring their batters are in prime form. Okay, but look at somebody like a Jimmy Anderson who said, "Oh, these kind of pitches are like kryptonite for me." Now, what are you going to do then? Okay, your main source, 10 years of dominance, you're totally undoing it by not producing green pitches. You want flat decks. Where is the bowling lineup for that in county cricket also for England? Here in India, you're muddling your own strength. And what was your strength? Batters scoring big, tackling spin well, and ensuring third, fourth in a day, you survive against spinners, which is a lottery. Now here, you may have dished out a flat deck, and India may be about 30-40 runs behind from where they should have been ideally. But then suppose they have a collapse in the second innings for them.
India.
Yeah. Then what? You're sweeping things under the carpet. That's a typical Indian man. You sweep under the carpet. When you win, all those things are never highlighted. But they do come up at crucial times.
Yeah, they come up at crucial times only.
World Cup, look at it. For all the talk that you had here, you are scared. You're still a scared nation. Because we still don't know what is a good total.
He says that every...
No, in a way, this test match and this pitch that was on offer and the bowling attack, I think, and it showed in the last test match, the way you approached the fourth innings, you did not perform to the ability that you can, which tells me there is pressure. You're taking pressure.
Yeah.
Whether it's the pressure of expectations of yourself or what the country expects, but did not play it to the peak because you took pressure. Today also I thought because you're 1-0 down, there's been a lot of criticism. How can you lose in India, do or die sort of a situation. That's also not allowed you to play your natural game. That's what I feel. Had they played like the bosses that they are, like it's our turf, we'll show you, it would have been a different score today.
Rohit Sharma definitely the one player, when you talk about all of that, the one player who definitely looked under pressure was Rohit Sharma. And perhaps after that maybe a Shreyas Iyer, but outright I would say Rohit Sharma just had to be Rohit Sharma, yaar. Just played the way Rohit Sharma plays. Not saying aggressive or anything, just play Rohit Sharma way.
Yeah.
Which is...
Shivam.
That's the thing. Manchester Rising is like saying Jaiswal and India. Take out Jaiswal's 179, the rest of the batters 157 for 6. True. Abysmal by India. 500 plus was required. I'm not going 500 plus. See, second day by the end of the session, maybe they could have 500.
No, but I think what he means is you need 500 plus. First innings.
Of course you do. Yep. Manchester Rising, weakest Indian batting in 50 years. Ouch. Is it? I mean, yeah, they should play.
But to be fair, I'm just saying this roughly. I mean, of course, personnel have changed. This same batting personnel will keep changing. For example, Virat is not here right now. KL is injured. There was just till some time ago there was Ajinkya Rahane. Chitesh, what I'm saying, this bunch as such has had success in Australia, has had success in South Africa. You've tied the series recently. You tied the series in England as well. So you've done, and India, you're still undefeated, by the way.
Yeah.
Still undefeated. Might add.
Yep.
So, but if we talk about this particular test match, there's a lot of inexperience. But I think that's not by design that happened. Who would have thought that Virat would have to pull out because of personal reason? There'd be a few injuries. Jadeja getting injured, KL Rahul getting injured. I think I was reading somewhere that 2018 or something like that, or even further back than that, India played a test match without a Jadeja or a Kohli.
That is
without Cheteshwar Pujara, without Ajinkya
Rahane,
without Virat
I'm
Kohli.
just saying Virat and Jadeja. When was the last time India played a test without the two?
Must have been in 2018, around that time only.
What about Gabba? They would have.
Yeah, Gabba, they didn't play.
Gabba.
What about
Maybe at home then, I guess.
Did Jadeja play Dharamshala 2017? Because Kohli was not there.
missed, yeah.
That only.
Yeah, Kohli and Kuldeep came in. No, Jadeja did play. He hit a crucial 60 here and got you wickets. Yeah. I mean, I remember that.
Okay, Shubham Garg.
India is missing an experienced batter in the middle order, around whom others can bat, as Rohit is focused on selfless cricket.
We didn't see any selfless cricket. I wish I did see some selfless cricket from him, but wasn't.
Leaving more overs for others. He meant it in a very sarcastic way. Come on, yeah. I mean, yes.
But Rohit Sharma is also under the pump.
Yeah.
He is.
If he loses the match and if his form doesn't improve, Sawal.
As a captain or as a batter?
Both.
Just general. As a player.
Okay.
He's under the pump. A lot. I think that is the number one spoken about subject on social media.
And there's one
as much as he would want Shubman Gill to be the focus or
Shubman Gill also.
Yeah, but the maximum hour has been directed towards.
Yeah.
That's because a certain person isn't in the 11 right now.
Achha, you are saying Viratians are doing that. So
No,
genuinely
I'm
there
not
is
saying
no reason to criticize
I
him.
didn't say that.
I'm asking.
What?
Is there no reason to criticize him?
No, there is.
Yeah,
But
but
why he's number one? That's the reason.
what is the reason? Then tell me. You didn't say that. What is the reason? Tell me exactly. What is the reason? So why?
Next question.
No. Answer. What is the reason? Because I said the reason. You said you're not saying it. So what are you saying?
That why he's the number one? Because Virat isn't in the 11. So I'm not saying there's anything between them. I'm saying their fans and fan armies are doing all that.
The same problem is in 6 years in Kohli's captaincy, you lost only 2 home tests. In 2 years of Rohit's captaincy, you've already lost 2 tests, but that is not his doing.
Exactly.
Your pitches at this time, post-COVID, have been so atrocious. Let's make no words about it. Your pitches in India in post-COVID era has been atrocious to say the least. Veering from one feather bed and veering to gaddas in that sense. So that's why. Sandeep Anand, please.
He says, pathetic bunch of so-called young talents. No wonder why 231 was just too much in Hyderabad. They're just ridiculously awful. Need not mince my words, is what he says.
Again, see, yes, they buckled under pressure. They continue to buckle under pressure. That is why you see that you've not won much. Of course, you're unbeaten at home and all that things, but then look at the circumstances also. When it has come to a pressure situation, you've crumbled. But otherwise, if you set the directive, you set the directive and then you've not let your foot off the throat. So yes, until and unless you see Hyderabad, until you see WTC surrenders, unless you see World Cup finals being lost, ICC events being lost, these questions and these comments will hang in. There is no way you are escaping that, and we have to be prepared for it. Mr. Shekhar has a question for you, Harshit. Just go down. Yeah, my dear friend Harshit, please stop with this benefit of doubt and defending every defensive strategy of Rohit Sharma Dravid regime. Or do you need me to list all major failures of the past 2.5 years every day? Wow, I think I missed that particular point. You gave the benefit of doubt.
Let Mohit answer. Go for it.
No, there's nothing glaring. There is nothing glaring which I actually see over here. Yes, of course, you can argue there have been World Cup exits, early exits, this and that. But that is not just this regime. Then the previous regime also didn't win you anything. You won precious little in the previous regime as well. Do you ask questions of the previous regime? You don't.
We do.
I'm just
We
saying.
ask question of every regime.
Of course.
Sorry, Harshit, I take an objection to your statement.
We at Sports Today ask every
Yes.
regime change.
We are no Ians.
Yes. No, we
We
are
are
one.
no
Indian.
That
Ians.
is established.
We are Indian.
Wait,
Not those two Ians.
That we can't
Or
do.
another Ian, yes.
But I'm saying
Or neither Siddharth Ian.
the kind of wrath that these two guys get at the moment, and I know there's a lot of pent up emotion at the moment. Of course, that World Cup loss and this and that. But again, I don't see anything glaring over here or anything wrong. Let's say.
No, in terms of the test,
The one thing, by the way, I do remember when this whole phase when Rahul Dravid had become the coach and all the experimentation that was going on, the number of caps that were being dished out, I had a problem with that, with the captain's armband also being given around like anything. So all of that, I wasn't too happy with that phase, but otherwise,
You
the way that the World Cup
we have
was.
seen this in the previous era also.
I was coming into that. See, you had a wonderful structure
more.
in place. Okay.
Much more than this.
The systematic dismantling started in the Kohli Shastri regime.
Exactly, and I feel as soon as these two came in, they need to everything was so like here and there. They needed some
Mismanaged?
Time. No,
You wanted to use that word?
No, they needed to actually.
Careful.
They needed some time to actually get everything back in place. I feel they've really got in the system. Not in tests. I'm particularly talking about Whiteboard.
The Shastri Kohli regime under the garb of horses for courses
Yeah, you did not have the same day for so.
gave out a total
Yeah.
khichdi, and the khichdi has been so complicated ever since that it's now not even worth taking a mouthful of it also.
Okay, Ashidhar wants to know, are rank turners possible only on red soil pitches because black soil pitches become slow turners and low? To an extent, yes, but even on black soil, I think Delhi you could create a rank turner if you want. You have you have black soil here.
Yeah.
It will be slower compared to red soil. I completely agree on that, but it's possible for you to make it.
Yes,
Ahmedabad has a mix. Right? So they
Nagpur is
produce-
red?
No, Nagpur is
Nagpur's
red.
red.
So
Mohali is black.
yeah, but I think you had a mix of black and red in Ahmedabad. You could
Ahmedabad,
produce
yeah.
a rank
Ahmedabad.
turner there as well. So
Yeah.
you
How
can.
about
You can.
Indore? That's
Indore is
By the way, if I'm not wrong, Eden Gardens black soil,
Yeah.
and Eden, not now, but Eden, if you remember the IPL time,
Of course.
where the
Yeah.
bowlers dominated,
Yeah.
they could really produce spin friendly tracks.
yeah.
But they weren't again ranked. They were slow.
Yeah, but you want this T20 versus Test cricket we would have seen. So it
Yep.
would have been interesting.
it will be.
Piyush Nandre says, why are you looking beyond Rahane so early? At least when your middle order is this inexperienced. What did I tell you? What will be the thing that will happen?
Rahane is barely scoring runs in.
But I also said that this
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Whoever is not part of the team
Looks.
is God's gift to cricket.
Yes.
It will happen with everyone.
Yep.
I predicted this in advance. Again, huge fan of Ajinkya Rahane and Cheteshwar Pujara, but I think the time had come to move on. There will be a churn, and anytime there's a churn, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You'll have to do it sooner or later, right? You're doing it now.
Exactly, and imagine you will now have to have a life in Indian cricket, maybe in the next couple of years, without Rohit Virat. They can't be there forever.
Yeah.
We have to get used to it, and you have to move on from Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane, because you're not giving the youngsters also a fair run.
See, at some point it had to be done. Yes, you may be, and of course they're doing good wherever they're playing at the moment. But the fact that, it didn't happen for no reason. Yes, they were given chances, you saw a few failures here and there, and then you decided you're moving on, and there were good, talented people waiting in the wings, and that's why you decided.
You have to move on. That's the simple thing in life.
And now there is no basis, in fact, actually to get in a Rahane. Cheteshwar Pujara could have still come back on the basis of the runs he's scoring in Ranji Trophy. But Ajinkya Rahane is not even
But
getting-
Familiar
Again-
story played out in loop all over again.
Also, it's like taking one step forward, two back.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Pujara, he had scored 3 or 4 double hundreds in county. You got him back for the one-off test.
England. Yeah.
Okay, he did well with the 61, but
Yeah.
then didn't set the stage on fire. You got a Pujara back for the WTC, what happened? He failed. Rahane, ironically, was your best batter in both the innings, 89 and 46.
Yeah.
But then you have to move on. Can't rely on them all the time.
Okay, we got two more upar, Shivam. Your thumbnail can come, aram se, don't worry, enough time. Okay, Shubham Garg says, can you please tell how it was khichdi in Virat's time? India had 8 batters from whom 6 played from 17 to 22 in tests with fixed set of bowlers. Siddharth.
Okay, how many times did Virat Kohli play with an unchanged 11?
Not even-
Yes.
How many times?
Yes.
You are only focusing on batters.
The most played, I think, under his
You do
regime
know that
was Ravindra Jadeja.
Shubham is a big Virat fan. It's
I know that.
He's gone after Rohit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he just said.
Look,
Yeah.
just look up on
Think
horses.
so. Did you not read his comment about Rohit before this? Have you forgotten?
Yeah. No, but I think Test cricket, not that Test cricket, yeah, of course. But again, you cannot question that because it actually worked for him.
Look at the
But
case
White
of.
also,
Look at the
Left
case
right
of Manish
defender.
Pandey. Yaar. He was your steady number 4. And what happened? Horses for courses. Oh, let us keep on changing according to the nature of the wicket, according to the nature of the conditions, and all that kind of a thing. You created confusion. You created the utmost of confusion that was there. Sure, the numbers will back Virat Kohli. He was a fantastic captain. Won the series everywhere. But boss, you created the confusion which you're seeing it now.
and in white ball cricket as well.
I mean, see, World Cup, everybody, I'm not citing the World Cup. World Cup was total injury. I mean, there was injury which compounded the issue. The way how Ambati Rayudu was treated.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And you didn't take Rishabh Pant in that side also. It wasn't just Ambati Rayudu who was left behind. It was
Yeah.
also Rishabh Pant.
Are you a Ian?
No.
So that's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry. He'll come up with instances, he'll come up with numbers and everything, but the
Just
broader picture is, see, the broader picture is, he'll come up with numbers to justify, oh, but this happened only this many times. But the real seeds of confusion were sown in the Shastri Kohli regime.
I agree with you.
Okay, Shivam.
Sandeep Anand, he made fun of Dravid after he said 80s should have 100. We did not understand what he meant was start had to be converted to big score. Comes back to bite us today, anything less than 500 we are losing.
We talked about the same. I said the same thing in the tea also. We talked about this one.
We did.
But my point is, the issue was obsession with hundreds, not getting a big score. Please tell me, who amongst any of us, if I was coach, he was coach, but we'd be like, no, we are happy with you. I'm the coach, Shashwat. No, Shashwat, I'm happy you're scoring less. Don't have to score too much. We don't need that. Why would I be? Of course, I'd be happy if he scores. My point is, that point was obsession with 100. Why is it that KL Rahul's inning will only be good once he reaches 100 and not when he scored 86? Those are tough conditions, right? He got 86. Of course, I would want KL Rahul to give me 186. Why will I want KL Rahul to give me only 86? Or Jadeja giving me only 87? I want more. But the point is, we need to appreciate an inning for the circumstances. It was a slower turner. The other team had been all out for 240 or whatever else they got. And you have a team that went to 421 in that test. India reached 421. Did you have a single centurion? You did not. You reach 421. Was 421 good on that pitch? It bloody well was good. You had no business losing that match after scoring 421 and the other team had made 240. So now you say no, 421 is not good. You know why? Because I want to follow this old cliche in cricket. Once you get a start, you have to. And we all know that, yaar. The point is you got 420. You should have won. Don't blame. We should have got 500. Then 500 won't be enough. We should have got 600. We should have got 700. On that pitch, in the circumstances, you got enough runs. You got 190 run lead. You had no business losing the match from there. That's it. How did you get to 420? Does not matter. 80, 80, 87. Your team, no, at the end of the day, the team score matters. So if you are not an EN of left or EN of right, if you are an EN of center, which is Indian, you will only see what is the total score. At 421 was the score more important to me, not 86 of KL Rahul. If it was 101, how much difference does it make?
Yep.
How much difference does it make? Today, you've got a big daddy 100 from Yashasvi Jaiswal. All very proud of him. He played really well. The end of the matter is you're 340 whatever. You'd still end up maybe at 420. Despite getting a daddy 100, it could possibly be a daddy double 100 and you'd still end up with that. How does it affect the test match? The day we start seeing that, that was my point.
Yeah.
Not about not wanting to get big runs. Of course, I want more runs. If I'm the coach and these are my three batters, I want them to score as much and as much and as much, please.
Which
but
will
in a
help
tough
the team
yeah,
in a
but
tough
if
situation.
but if 10 of my batters have given me 420, I'm happy. I'm looking at the final score. I'm not going to say why did Shashwat you got out for 92 and Harshit you got out for 91. Very bad. It doesn't matter they got me that much.
Yep. Mr. Shekhar is like saying, since dear Mohit doesn't see a glaring error in WT20, WTC, World Cup, SA or England 5th Test, so I guess an unfortunate WT20 failure won't display any error.
Harshit.
I just think Mr. Shekhar is just too hot with the fact that, India's not won anything and it's all as if down to these two only, not everything.
Don't take out your anger on Mohit.
No, not Mohit. They're taking out, I think he's very, he's displeased with the head coach and Rohit Sharma. Yes, of course, I see all those unfortunate times that India lost.
Fact is, this head coach and this captain have yet not lost a series at home. Fact.
And
Fact.
they played the near perfect World Cup campaign. Yes, you did not win, but let's not forget the delight of those 10 matches. Simple
What
as
10
that.
matches?
Also a fact.
What 10 matches?
Siddharth, it's okay. Again,
Also a fact. Both are speaking facts.
No, but
He's also not wrong.
I
with facts
would.
and so on.
Everyone wanted that win. Again, the entire nation's been waiting for it for a decade and this and that. Yes, of course, I want that win. But I cannot brush aside and forget the fact that those 10 matches were near perfect.
So you won on paper, right?
Whatever it is, you call me a romantic or you call me anything.
He didn't put on paper because if it was on paper, next day it would have been on paper. India
Exactly.
hardly-
See, if Virat,
You win the paper World Cup.
if under Virat also we would have lost the World Cup, I still would have criticized him. And here also I would criticize Rohit a bit because that was a thought process all throughout the World Cup that you were being a little defensive by giving those wickets. So you had to fall in that trap some time or the other. It happened in the final, unfortunately. It could have happened in the semi-final also.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to consider those 10 games like.
So, okay, Shubham Garg is saying, I am not a Virat fan.
Okay.
India team fan, but same parameter should be there for all. Like I and Shane last year went after KL Rahul captaincy against Bangladesh, but didn't utter anything this time for Rohit. Shubham Garg, what are you listening to? I have said it countless times. India is playing scared cricket. Under whose captaincy they are playing? Is it a certain Virat Kohli? Is it a certain KL Rahul? No. Your scared level has reached optimum with Rohit Sharma's captaincy and Rahul Dravid's tenure. You're playing scared cricket. And you will not rise above all that. And that's your biggest damning indictment of Rohit Sharma, the captain, and Rahul Dravid, the coach.
No, but don't you think, I feel that Rohit Sharma is not going to play test for that long time anymore after this, I feel. So when
How many years?
2, 3 years, 2,
3 years.
If India reaches the
2 to 3 years
WTC
difference.
final, I
Yeah.
think that is above.
Yeah.
No, but never say never. What if this happens to be the first series loss at home? Things could change.
Things could
Yes,
change.
Could
Yes.
change.
That's what I'm getting to. I'm saying
So
that
you
we
already
don't
know.
have another option for captaincy. I would.
अरे option क्या है यार? Gujarat Titans didn't think they have an option. They made Shubman Gill.
You'll make KL Rahul the captain.
I don't know.
Whom would you make the captain?
I
You
have no
to pick
idea.
someone today.
I have no idea. Whoever you think will become the captain never becomes the captain. Yeah.
Jasprit Bumrah.
Bumrah could-
It's a good hand.
Good headache. There's nothing called good headache.
Yeah, I know.
This is a bad headache, my friend.
Headaches are bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So, Tanmay Joshi, if England restrict India around 400, they will have their tails up and all advantage of toss will be lost. Agree.
I am with you, Tanmay. If you've been watching our program right from the start, you know we concur with your opinion. Do check out our big debate at the start. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Johnson Joseph, Nikhil sir, big fan of yours from Melbourne.
I love Melbourne. Johnson, call me there one more time.
Would love to host you here in Australia.
Oh, we were there and we met so many people there in Australia and so many in Melbourne. Lovely people. Everywhere we went, I can't tell you that this is one thing I must say, I have the opportunity. Sometimes we get a lot of hate. Sometimes, not always. Most of our subscribers are amazing, but sometimes they can get nasty in comment section.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get a lot of hate. I don't know about you. I get a lot of hate on social media also. So I feel that there's so many people who misunderstand us. But honestly, whenever I go on the field and I meet a lot of people, because generally when you go to a cricket ground, you end up meeting a lot of people who watch your shows. I've not met a single person who said anything bad or shown hate. So either there could only be two reasons behind it. Either the ones that send all the hate and abuses don't come for matches.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Or two, when they meet you in person, they are very different.
Yes.
Because in person, you're much nicer.
Yeah.
It's very easy to hide behind a social media profile and abuse.
Faceless entities, no?
Yeah. But when they meet you in person,
Your keyboard avatar is different.
Not met a single person who has been nasty. Not met a single. So many I've met, whether in India while traveling to the World Cup, abroad,
Yep.
never. Asia Cup in Sri Lanka, and a lot of them are Indian fans who travel from India.
Yeah.
Asia Cup in Sri Lanka, and I travel
UAE.
T20 World Cup in Australia, UAE, the Asia Cup,
Yeah.
India during the World Cup. Never.
Maybe BGT, Johnson Joseph, if you get the chance.
BGT? No,
Yeah.
BGT, I don't know. BGT looks tough. यहीं से करेंगे.
Or maybe the T20 World Cup in 27, 28.
Nobody knows.
They covered so many World Cups. Recently, in 4-5 World Cups, which one is the most buzzing World Cup?
Buzzing.
Buzzing. Okay, Shivam, our producer, wants to know that
That Australia one.
since I have covered a lot of World Cups, which is the World Cup that has been most buzzing, as in the excitement levels and all of that? Oh, I think the 2011 World Cup, because India won, was everywhere you went. There was because that India-Pakistan game in Mohali,
Mohali, oh
crazy
yes.
Not this one?
final.
This World Cup.
This World Cup, also I went India-England game. It was nice, but somehow because India were cruising. But if you want to know a World Cup outside of India, which was
15.
15, not so much.
Three
It was
South
nice.
Africa.
You knew
It was nice. 3 South Africa. I didn't travel to South Africa. I was here in office.
Okay.
3.
Yeah, I mean I was anchoring, but from office.
7 World T20?
7 World T20. I didn't travel.
Oh.
I went for 750 over.
Okay.
Not 7 T20 World Cup in South Africa. I wasn't there. But that could be possibly one of those very exciting. But I covered the team's arrival and all that. It was crazy. It was crazy.
2016.
15 I was there in
World Cup.
Australia, but okay.
16 T20 World Cup. That was in India.
Not so much. Not so much.
2022 T20 World Cup.
2022 T20 World Cup Australia was good. Lot of love, lot of packed houses, fans coming in was also a good one. I agree.
17 CT.
17 CT, no. Okay. But 17 CT, the final was buzzing.
Oh, yeah.
India-Pakistan. I was there at the Oval.
Yeah.
Oh man, and because England has so many Indians and Pakistanis, that tension was real.
10 years later, you're playing the final of an ICC event.
Yeah. But okay, it was finished as a one-sided game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No.
Yes, it was.
And most buzzing game that was when Virat
the
Kohli-
one, I think the Melbourne
Melbourne,
2022.
Yeah.
In Champions Trophy, I really liked the way Amir actually set up Virat.
Oh,
Ah,
yes.
yeah.
He got an edge dropped by I think Azhar
No, then
Ali.
I was listening to this interview of his when he said that a catch was dropped first.
Azhar
Yeah,
Ali
yeah.
dropped it.
Then he said that I knew that he's hoping for that in swinger, so I'll just take it out.
Yeah.
And he took it out, and
That was his last inspired spell.
That was a really
Yeah.
good spell.
Yeah.
That was not that was Yudh.
Yeah, but it was an inspired spell, and he's adding on from that India need minimum 450. Kuldeep will be crucial. Agree. Kuldeep is the X factor, and I don't see anybody else stepping up unless Bumrah has a spell for the ages. I mean, he is the guy who takes the pitch out of the equation totally. So, any other sawal?
That's it. Yeah, we've gone on
Yeah.
for very long. Thank you so much, guys, for your company. We've had a long day, but as always, lovely having you around.
Yes.
Tomorrow is another day. As cliche as it sounds, very important day coming up.
Yep.
Will tell us where the test match is heading. India would need to get some good runs towards the death, and for the first time we'll see how the Indian bowlers really perform on this flattish track. So sorry couldn't take all your comments, but again tomorrow is another day. We're live from lunch onwards because it's day 2, so post-match show is done. Lunch onwards we'll be live. Then we'll try and tell. Lunch shows are longer, 40 minutes. We'll try and take your questions.
Hopefully not the innings break.
Or innings break. Yeah, first live could be innings break. But that's always very short, so
Very
can't
short,
take too many questions.
10 minutes. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
Yes, indeed.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Nandri.
Vanakkam, Nandri, Shabba Khair, Shubh Ratri. Eat your vegetables. Don't trouble
Don't
your
trouble
mother.
your mother.
See you tomorrow.
See you.